In the dead of night, special operations aircraft cut across contested airspace. On board, air commandos tighten gear and prepare for the mission ahead. But success in the shadows depends on far more than what happens at the edge of conflict. Behind every scenario that's part of AFSOC's premier joint exercise, known as Emerald Warrior, is a team of intelligence professionals, cyber warfare operators, and force support specialists who make the fight possible.
It's definitely validated my role as an intel officer, since this is the first time I've really done anything outside of a classroom at this point. This is my first time experiencing intelligence on sort of like the real playing field.
Intelligence airmen typically handle a broad mission set, from tracking terrorist networks to understanding the capabilities of adversaries despite attempts at deception. During Emerald Warrior, they do all of that with degraded conditions, limited bandwidth, simulated jamming, and intermittent communications with teams in the field. It's a proving ground for their adaptability, mirroring what they might face in austere, contested environments. For intelligence airmen, this was more than planning on paper. It was providing real-time support in the field, ensuring ground teams stayed informed and commanders had the space to make decisions.
I think the biggest misconception that people have is a lot of times they expect that we kind of know everything about everything, when a lot of times we have little pieces of knowledge and we're going to go back and sort of dig those things out. So a lot of times it's not as much about knowing exactly what is being asked of you, but knowing where to find that information and where to go look things up and who to talk to.
But intelligence is only powerful if it reaches the fight. That's where communications specialists and cyber warfare operators come in, keeping information flowing between teams dispersed across hundreds of miles.
It's a layered approach, so you always want to have a primary, alternate, and contingency, and even emergency. So having a layered approach, because you never know what might happen. Something will go down, but always being able to switch to your alternate and your contingencies, especially for the commander, is always vital.
In an era where data can move faster than missiles, communications airmen enable command and control across domains, linking operations in the air, on the ground, and at sea. Without their signal, the mission goes silent.
Communications is what drives the tactical edge, especially at the conflict level, but also for efficiency and effectiveness.
If intel airmen are the eyes of special operations and cyber warfare operators are its veins, then force support specialists are the consciousness of the special operations beast. They track every airman, sustain every team, and ensure every team member makes it home at the end of the mission.
The biggest challenge for A1 is ensuring that we have 100% accountability in such a dynamic environment. So at Emerald Warrior, we're responsible for tracking hundreds of airmen, our partner nations, and joint service components when they're constantly on the move. And so through the ACE-enabled functions of them dispersing to several locations, we're in constant communication with the team leads of every unit that's involved. And so they're reporting their accountability both before and after every mission, so that at any given moment, we can tell the SOTIC commander exactly where his people are.
At home station, force support is responsible for caring for the whole airmen and their families. Downrange, they establish bear-based sustainment services such as field feeding, lodging, and fitness in the most austere environments. Force support is a force behind the force, empowering airmen to sustain mission performance in support of America's air superiority, anytime, anywhere.
The biggest misconception about A1 and force support in general is that it's only in processing and accountability, when in reality we're not hidden behind the scenes, but rather everywhere you look, a force support function is there.
Emerald Warrior isn't just a test for the air commandos who parachute into hostile territory or fly low-level routes under cover of darkness. It's also a proving ground for the airmen who never touch the trigger, but make every trigger pull possible. All across the Special Operations Enterprise, intelligence, cyber warfare, force support, and countless other specialties form an invisible backbone that enables the Special Operations Forces to act with swiftness and certainty in complex environments. The fight belongs not just to the ones on the front lines or behind enemy lines, it belongs to all who ensure air commandos are ready to win.